Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another e-commerce Expand the Secrets podcast. Coming to you live, obviously. So if you're on the live version, clearly this isn't a podcast. This is just a live broadcast. But if you're listening to the podcast, hi there. And hi to everyone listening that's going to be joining us very, very shortly. We've got a great guest with us today. A great, huge amount of experience in the e-commerce world. A great partner of ours over the last few years. It's been great having Tristan and Revstep as part of one of our partners that we work very, very closely with. So let's cut me talking and let's get to Tristan. Tristan, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Good, Andy. It's good to be here. Good to talk with you. You're a very busy man, so I appreciate this time that I get to talk with you and pick your brain too.
Yeah, I love these. For me, this is it's a great opportunity to have a chat, basically, isn't it? That's what I love about it. So, Tristan, give everyone a quick intro about who you are, where you're based, what you do. Don't go too heavily into what you do because we're going to come back to that in a minute. But give people a little quick snapshot about you.
Yeah, so I help a lot of our clients. We're in the e-commerce business. We help a lot of brands build their presence on the main e-commerce platforms, Amazon, eBay, Walmart. We help them with Shopify if they have that as well. But yeah, most of the bulk of our work has been a lot with Amazon, and a lot of that's been expansion. So that's kind of what Revstep does, and what we kind of specialize in with your guys' help. You guys have been tremendous help as well. We help a lot of the brands, cross the seas and be able to sell in different marketplaces. And I started in 2015 on Amazon and eBay. And I noticed there's a lot of brands that kind of struggle with understanding Amazon's platform and the different nuances within the platform. I really specialize in my comfort zone is kind of on the back end strategies and tools within Seller Central and Vendor Central. I also on the back end of eBay and Walmart too. Just working through those technical difficulties and knowing what's available on those platforms in terms of marketing tools, advertising, PPC, all that good stuff. That's kind of where my specialty is. I love diving in and learning the new tools that Amazon comes out with almost constantly. It never ends, the changes they come out with. But yeah, as Revstep as a whole, we've really been focusing on international companies and just helping them break into the different country marketplaces and things like that. It's super complicated as some brands, more small to mid-sized brands, they struggle a lot, with VAT, understanding VAT registration and getting to different countries. Now with Brexit, it's thrown another curveball that's been really intense. So
make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, fun is I guess a way you could put it. I haven't heard it that way from a lot of people, logistics companies and carriers, but yeah, it's thrown a bit of curveball. But I think the good part about it is it really weeds out some of the sellers or brands that aren't really dedicated or committed to learning, and maybe creates kind of a gated selling platform more so, and kind of weeds out competition. But yeah, now I'm here with Revstep, and we're traveling, or we hope to travel a lot here soon, and meet new brands and help them grow.
Fantastic. So, Tristan, whereabouts are you based?
Well, we're in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I live here in Utah. I lived in California for a while. That's kind of where I started in California.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. So when I started on Amazon, I just put up an ad to help companies or brands for free with Amazon, and that's kind of where I gained a lot of my experience on the back end of Amazon. And so I was in California, and then I talked with Revstep, and they were doing a good buddy of mine, Chad, was doing kind of the same thing as and so we kind of partnered up, and they sent me out to Europe for 2 months, right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then right after that trip, I came back in March and moved from from California to Utah. So now I'm here. I'm gonna be here for a while, and we're gonna grow this thing, and it's gonna be a good time. So
Yeah, perfect. So let's go right back to the beginning. So did you grow up in California or Salt Lake City? Where was that?
yeah, born and raised in California,
Nice.
Southern California, Orange County. That's where I was. Yeah, for most of my life.
And did you go to university or college?
Yeah, I went to university in marketing from Cal State Fullerton. Went there, and then shortly before that, though, I had served a religious mission in the islands of Samoa. So
Okay.
so I'm half Samoan, and when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, where's the other half of you?" I'm the smaller end of what that is. I'm not the rock or anything, but yeah, I lived in Samoa for a couple years. I have family out there, and then right after that, that's when I really started getting into e-commerce when I moved back to California, and then now I'm here in Utah.
So that's interesting, actually. So you did your university piece, you did it in marketing, and then you come out of university. What was the first thing you did after that?
The first thing out of university was handling. Well, I did sales for a while, so I did door-to-door sales, which is a lot of fun, and not really, but
What's everyone that's done sales has got at least one amazing story of something just crazy that happened. Have you got any little story? Just
oh man,
because everyone does these things, and we've all got a little story. Go on, what's the best one?
well, one of the weird things or moments that I remember with one of the doors I knocked on was, they came out here. They came out to the door, and they had this kind of solar panel. I don't know why, they just decided to share it with me. Well, maybe I do know why, because I was selling solar. But he comes out with he comes out to me with this contraption of his, and he tells me it's there to kind of like what do you call it, surveillance extraterrestrial living like beings and stuff. Anyway, that was the weirdest experience I've ever had. Like, someone was so deep into it that they shared it with me. I ended up signing the client with solar. Anyway, it was just that's probably the one story that I've always remembered for some reason.
Yeah.
But nothing else too significant.
But you've got to have those sort of stories, like these sort of things happen. Yeah, this crazy guy come out to me, did this happen, that happened. It was just like, okay, all right. Anyway, so you did door-to-door sales, which that in itself actually gives you a huge amount of confidence to be able to go and knock on someone's door, just door to door. No, yes, no. Like, actually, that's a huge, huge for your own self-confidence. Is that fair?
Absolutely. You hit it, Andy, because it helps you deal with different personalities.
Yes.
You get all scopes of personalities. You get the introverts, the extroverts. You kind of learn how they work, and what hits home with them in terms of their interests and things like that. And you learn how to work with that kind of personality and really explain things differently so that they understand. So yeah, absolutely. It's what really started. Yeah, it's what really fast tracked me to this, because it has built a lot of confidence in what I do. working with different companies, and that's kind of what happened to me as well with going out to the trade shows in Europe. Just going to going to all the brand exhibitors and talking to them and learning the different personalities that come with it.
That's really interesting. I know we're sort of bounding out a little bit there, but when you're at a trade show, actually the number one thing that you can do is go and say hello to everyone on every other stand. Like, hi, I'm on stand over there. I've just come to say hi.
Absolutely.
That doesn't take any more than that, and the conversation starts. And all of a sudden, the partnership and everything else that goes with that. So door-to-door sales, and then you moved into more of a marketing role, or?
Yeah, and then one of my managers at one of the door-to-door companies told me he sells on Amazon and has his own little Amazon company, and he wanted me to run it. That guy taught me everything. Like he really took me in and he just let me play with all the tools on Amazon and eBay, and I managed it for him for about 2 years. And then I kind of noticed I have a skill that a lot of people, or I have a know-how at least, that a lot of brands don't, businesses don't yet. And so like I said, I put up a post saying I'll help any companies for free. On the weekends, I would do that. And I built a lot of cool relationships with a lot of brands doing that. And they allowed me to kind of brainstorm with their PPC, their advertising, and the different marketing tools in Amazon. And I knew it was something that people needed. So I decided to go full force with that after managing the one account and started taking on more accounts. And then now Revstep, we have lots of accounts that I kind of oversee.
Fantastic. So I like that. So you've started learning. Someone's brought you underneath their wing, and they're moving you forwards, which is all amazing. You've then sort of gone to support other people free of charge to start off with, to start building your experience and your knowledge and understanding how other people do it. Is that fair? And then and then you start to generate all these clients. You've got all these clients. You're like, okay, what am I going to do with them? How am I going to work with them? Yeah, what do I need to do? So what do you think was your learning point along that journey, do you think? What was the sort of number one you think you learned about yourself more than, the Amazon piece or anything like that?
Yeah. What I learned about myself is I'm an extrovert, and I love working with brands, and I love growing with them, building relationships. It's kind of where I get my drive factor from, is being a dependable person and being able to help these brands navigate their way through e-commerce platforms and be able to, with Amazon's A9 algorithm and all those different marketing strategies. That's the kind of energy I like, I think, is coming up with strategies with these brands and seeing them grow from them. It's really built really cool relationships with for me in my life, and I think that's what I love about doing this is building relationships with other companies like yourselves too. GE's awesome. I've learned so much from you guys, and you guys have been a huge support in helping a lot of our clients get overseas and kind of settle in on those places. So I love building the relationships. That's the most gratifying experiences that I can get from the position I'm in. So
fantastic. So how did the Revstep piece come up? So was there a job opportunity or someone you spoke to, or how did that come up?
So one of our partners, Chad. So there's Adam, which you've interviewed with. Then we have another partner, Chad. So Adam and Chad, they're kind of the foundation pieces of Revstep. They did a lot of sourcing, and they have a lot of sourcing experience and manufacturing experience. Chad, he was also selling solar with me, and he's been a mentor of mine. Yeah, he's been an awesome mentor of mine too. And he started doing the same. So once we both left the solar sales team, We started doing the same thing in different states. So I was managing an Amazon account in California, and he was actually managing vendor accounts in Utah.
Okay.
So that's kind of the different pieces, and we kind of put it together. Like I know Seller Central, like it's my home. Like I know the Seller Central better than anything else I know in this whole world. And he had the same experience, but on vendor. Anyway, so I was like, hey man, I do the same thing. I help a lot of brands and help grow their sales on Amazon. I want to come see what you do. I want to shadow you. So I flew over to Utah, kind of shadowed what he does. And I'm like, hey man, I do the same thing. We should do something. And they brought me on, and I kind of took off from there.
Fantastic. So let's just talk about Revstep at the moment. So with Revstep, what sort of client? I mean, you've already talked about sort of brands and things like that, but who's like the ideal client for Revstep right now? What does that look like?
That's a great question, because we've been really kind of delving into that aspect of what kind of brands are perfect for Amazon. Because there are some brands that just don't have the right setup or business model that'll support Amazon growth strategy. They're just a lot of the brands out there. They're not mentally prepared for Amazon, or they're not set up well enough yet for Amazon in order to grow.
Yeah, sorry, or they're just not going to be. They're just not ready to be aggressive enough to take control of the marketplace.
Absolutely.
That's the big thing we see. They're like, oh yeah, I want to sell some stuff on Amazon, and they're like, okay, well I'll sell 10 products this week, and that's fine. That's not an Amazon strategy.
You cannot do that.
No.
And we've always known that, but now it's really hitting home with us. It's hit home with us like crazy lately, because we've tried to help these kinds of clients grow through the Amazon experience in that slower way, and it just doesn't work. No. They understanding Amazon's platform, with a true understanding of Amazon's platform, you have to be aggressive, like you said. You have to know what's going to come in the front end of building your sales rank on Amazon and what it all takes. It's if you don't have that mindset, you're gonna fail, honestly. If you don't have a good supply chain, if you go out of stock, if you don't have the advertising budget to uphold in the very beginning while building your listings, you're not going to hold out. So that's a huge factor, is being aggressive with Amazon and understanding the platform and how it works.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
So that ideal client, then, they're sort of brand owners that are looking to scale on Amazon specific or e-commerce specific?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and it all depends on where a brand is in their growth strategy. If they have the wherewithal to launch on all these platforms at once, they should definitely diversify, be on Walmart, be on eBay, have your own website, be on Shopify. But you can grow a brand on Amazon itself. If you have, like you said, the aggressive marketing strategies, you can do that and then branch out to others. And now we're getting into Google ads and outside marketing that all has this halo effect around, selling on Amazon. But yeah, you can start off with Amazon and grow a business, and that's what makes Amazon a unique platform. Is these small companies, these small brands can compete with big names if they have the marketing strategies behind it. So,
and sometimes the balls to make it happen. Like I'm going in, my first 3 shipments, I've got 30,000 units, and I'm going cost neutral. Done. 30,000 units. Bosh. Go. That takes some serious doing, though.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you're going to get kicked down a lot in the few first months of selling on Amazon. and that, what I mean by that is there could be any kinds of problems with setting your account up, with getting products in the Amazon. You don't really know there's always this black box with Amazon. Until you actually get your products available for sale, you're not going to know what's going to happen. Like, you don't know what your fees are actually going to be, because once they get in there, they remeasure even though you input all the dimensions of your product, they're going to remeasure it once it gets into their warehouse, and then that could change. There's just so many things, like with trademark, with brand registry kind of things.
That one I see at the moment actually is causing the biggest headache for some of our sellers, is the brand registry, account management, trying to get A+ content and so on. That whole brand registry is proving really difficult in Europe at the moment. There's so many people because of the whole Brexit thing. It's really, really difficult.
Brand registry is it's a headache, man. Like the hard thing about it is that there are two different platforms. There's brand registry platform. There's a seller central platform. They don't communicate, and it's really hard. Like, you create a case on Seller Central to fix an issue. They'll tell you to go to brand registry, and then you'll create the case on brand registry. They'll tell you to go to Seller Central. Like, it's just that's hard. But you're right. Getting trademark approval on brand registry has been an issue as well. Just completing that step. But that step's so important, right? Getting brand registered.
Totally.
Yeah, it opens the doors up to all these other marketing tools that you need right now if you're going to compete with these bigger brands.
I think actually the one thing that I spoke about, I spoke on a podcast or webinar last week was about the brand registry piece, and about how important that strategy is going forwards right now. It's almost the number one thing out of everything you need to be doing. If you're not, you just got to be doing it. There's no way around. There's no fast cut to getting A+ content other than being brand registered. You just got to do it. And I think that people are coming to the realization that if they're going to expand to Europe, they can't expand to Europe without a trademark. It's almost a hand-in-hand process. So with that in mind, with your sellers that you're currently working with expanding to Europe, where do you see as the biggest friction that people have got most recently, and the areas where probably there's some sort of friction right now? What do you think?
The friction, I guess, would mostly be understanding that and how it works in relation to the FBA process with Amazon, right? Because there's so many parameters that surround it. Do you have that in each country? If not, can you still sell in those countries? Which you can on a multi-channel fulfillment level. But if you wanted to be FBA and if you want to have that prime tag, right? I think that's what the friction is. Brands want to know, what's the fastest way to get that prime badge in every single European country?
Yeah.
And with that, and I've heard rumors, right, that you'll need that just for one European country. You'll have more information on this, but you'll need that for one European country, and maybe that'll include all of them.
Comes under the OneStop Shop, and the OneStop Shop isn't that was the dream, but it doesn't really work for Amazon sellers because of where they're stored, how they're stored. If you've got a Shopify store, it's epic, right? You put your Shopify store in Europe, you put your stock in one location, your VAT registered in one location, you ship it to all the other countries, and it's all done over here somewhere. Job done. Right. With Amazon, that doesn't work because the stock, Amazon is submitting the VAT in the different countries for you. You've got stock all over the place. You might have stock in their warehouse, so it just doesn't work, unfortunately. Which is a real shame because actually it would open up the gateway to so many more sellers. I guess is why they're probably not doing it. It's hard to know what these governments do and don't do. So with the leading into Q4 right now, we're starting Q3. Hold on, July, August, September. Yeah, so I'll just give me a head around it. We're firmly in Q3 now. Where do you see people are going to make the biggest inroads in Q4 this year? What do you think is the biggest difference?
Not getting your stock in now is probably the biggest issue I've seen. Preparing your stock levels in latest in August is really important, because Amazon's intake during the Q4 is so slow that some sellers, that especially here in the States, right? I mean, in UK and Europe, they get them relatively quickly, but in the States, if you start sending your inventory to prepare for Q4 in September or October, it may not even get there in time to be available for sale. And the number one killer of your sales rank on Amazon is going out of stock.
Yeah,
that's the number one killer, because once you're out of stock, your sales rank completely plummets. There's no way people can even see traffic to that listing because there's no stock. So yeah, getting stock in now and preparing your Q4 inventory levels is crucial. However, it's sticky too, because with the new quantity limitations from Amazon, it's been super sticky. So I think one other thing that people need to start having and start looking into is another fulfillment channel, and that's a 3PL like yourselves. Having that 3PL option and getting stock in and being seller fulfilled is super crucial to have as a backup plan in case your FBA stock doesn't go in. And right now in Europe, seller fulfilled Prime, I think you can get into the program pretty easily. However, in the US, the seller fulfilled Prime program, it's kind of non-existent right now. I don't know when they're going to bring it back, but
that's a really good point. That stock limits issue is not going anywhere. Every year, the time frame that the issues arrive. 2 years ago, it was just Q4 that we were all a bit touchy about getting stock into Amazon. Well, fast forward 18 months in a COVID pandemic. Well, we're all year round, we can't get stock into Amazon. There's a limit, and now they're saying that's it. I mean, one of my contacts said at Amazon, it's basically 40-day stock. That's all they want. They don't want any more than 40-day stock. Any more than that is completely pointless. So we're working with said marketplace to help sellers here in the UK and Europe that need more stock because of shipping times and everything else. Just store stuff in the background. Essentially a vendor model. I mean, the vendor model is basically you got to have stock when we want it, and you got to have it locally when we want it. Really, people need to start getting their head around that vendor model, don't they? That you got to have stock here the whole time, and it just needs to be buffer stock going straight in. I think that's really, really key. We're definitely seeing that. And I think with the Brexit issues made it even worse here. Making sure you've got it in the UK and Europe, which people hadn't quite cottoned on to. I don't think they still have, in some cases.
Yeah, it's a sticky topic for a lot of brands, and man, it's been a huge issue. Like even using Amazon's carriers, there's been so many balls dropped with like the carriers sending across borders, and so many lost pallets and things like that, or returned pallets. But yeah, I mean, having and that's why you guys are so important, right? Because you guys have your warehouse in UK, and you have your warehouse in the EU. And that's essentially what you need in order to do that vendor method is having stock in the UK and EU separately.
Yeah, perfect. So. Well, Tristan, if people want to get in contact with you, they want to hear more about what you guys do, how you're doing it, and how you support sellers. What's the best way of doing that?
Well, I mean, you can reach out to me personally if you want, Tristan at Revstep.com, or you can go to our website, Revstep.com, and we're always monitoring the our info@revstep.com too. Yeah, those are pretty much the best ways you guys can get in touch with us. And if you guys just want to talk strategy or anything like that, let us know, and we'll let you know what it takes to get prepared for Amazon, to have the balls enough to go aggressively with aggressive strategy on Amazon.
Yeah, the truth of the story rather than what someone will wish to tell you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's a lot of companies out there that'll tell you, oh yeah, we can do it. Yeah, we can get your listings on Amazon. You're going to do great. We're not like that. We're going to be like, hey, if you don't understand how it works, and you're not ready to do it that way, you're not going to do great. You have to do it a different way. And there are plenty other ways, plenty of other alternatives aside from Amazon. But yeah, to do Amazon, you need to know the know-how, and you need to be aggressive with it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, look, Tristan, thank you very much. You do to support us. It's been great having you on. It's been great hearing a bit about your story there. I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us on the e-commerce Expanded Secrets. And for everyone listening, if you want to get in contact with Tristan or the Revstep team, and obviously we've just given you a bit of information how to do that. There'll be more in the comments below when this goes on, or where if you're listening to the podcast, that'll be in the details below. But we'll see you on the next episode of the e-commerce Expanded Secrets. Thank you very much for your time, Tristan. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you on the next show real soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
everyone.
Andy.
Cheers. Bye.